welcome to this very, very special webinar presentation. I'm so pleased and happy that you are here with us, because I'll tell you what, one of the things that I have always dreamed of as an author, as a publisher, is being able to stroll into the bookstore or a store and see my book up on the shelf. And like many folks, like many especially self-published authors, without a large publishing contract and without a trade publisher to push, I didn't think that was at all possible. That is not until I met and I started hanging out with my good friend and business partner, Amy Collins. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be covering one of the things that Amy told me that you could do, and that is to sell your book or books in stores even if you are self-published, and get this, even if you hate to sell. Okay? So I'm really pleased that you are here for today's presentation, because I've got to tell you, it's going to be very, very informative. If you've never been on a webinar with Amy or I before, I'll just let you know, kind of going into it here, that it is chock full of immediately usable content. So you're definitely going to want a way to take notes. Please do yourself a favor, do us a favor, and turn off your Facebook, your emails, your client, your text messaging. Just give us your 100% full attention. Would you do that? Go to your questions box and just let us know. Are you willing to do that? Because again, it doesn't help you if you only get half the information, because you're giving us only half your attention. So you will do that? Cool. Excellent. All right. So with that, let's kind of jump into who we are. My name is Daniel Hall. If you don't know who I am, I'm an author, speaker, coach, consultant, lawyer, believe it or not, nurse, believe it or not, and I have a podcast called the Real Fast Results Podcast. I also am the creator of the highly popular brand of training products called the Real Fast brand of products. And they're primarily designed to help folks, well, like you, people that are authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, trainers, internet marketers, and entrepreneurs, to help them to grow their business faster and profit more effortlessly. And I mean, that's me, and that's great, but I'm really not the star of the show. I wanted to introduce the star of the show, and her name is Amy Collins. And Amy is a former director of sales and lives, and by the way, is in Boston, and is the special director of the parent company, F&W Media, and she's been profitably selling to stores. This is the really important thing. Since 1996, she's got a long track record of this. And in 2006, she actually started her successful book and marketing company called New Shelves Books. Now, what's really cool about Amy is that over the years, she has sold to the big box stores like Barnes & Noble, Target, Costco, Borders, Books A Million, Walmart, the big boxes, all right, the big boys, and has become a trusted partner and recommended sales consultant for some of the largest book and library wholesalers in the industry. And I know some of you are saying, well, that's all well and good for Amy. What the heck does it have to do with me? Well, here it is. Essentially, in the last 20 years, Amy has sold over 40 million books for folks like you, for small and mid-sized publishers. So that's why I really want you to pay very close attention to what Amy has to say today. Now, I always like to start with a promise so that you and I are, and Amy, we're all on the same page as to what's going to happen here today. And here is our promise, our little pinky promise to you. We're going to show you essentially a whole new world of publishing profits by exposing the immense opportunity that exists in the world of independent bookstores and gift stores. And in this webinar, you're going to learn what it takes. Now, I have a question before we go on. Is that why you showed up? Is that why you're here? If so, go to your questions box right now and type in, heck yes, that is why I'm here. I'm psyched. I'm pumped to be here, Daniel. Excellent. All right. Cool. I'm seeing all these responses flow in. I do want to let you know that we will, if this resonates with you, if this is something that you do want to do with your books, that we will have a way for you to continue your education with Amy and I at the very end of the training, and that's called the Real Fast Indie Book Marketing Program. So I'm not going to say much about that until after we have delivered on our promise, and let's actually get to that right now. Amy, thanks so much for being here. The floor is yours.
Is this next hour for you? As I said, if you say to yourself or anyone else who will listen, I'm not comfortable with the sales and marketing part of the business, I only want to write, this session might be for you. If you already have a book out there, but you're disappointed in how your sales are going, we might be perfect for you. If you're still writing your book, if you're like Daniel in the middle of writing your book and you want someone to help you by telling you what the marketplace is looking for and want to help you do a sales and marketing plan while it's still the right time, and the right time to do a sales and marketing plan ideally is while the book is still being finished, this might be a good hour for you. If you're an assistant or a consultant or a business person who wants to help other people with their book sales, do you want to make a little money on the side? Maybe you don't mind making phone calls or sending emails out. Maybe that's your business. We can train you the best way to make the approach. If you're someone who hates to sell, as I've said, this next hour is for you. So thank you so much for joining me, and why don't we get to the meat of it right away. Why do you want to bother with small independent stores? Whenever I get together with a group of authors, and I was with some of them this last week, and I say, where do you want to see your book? They all say Costco, Walmart, Barnes & Noble. Well, of course we do. We all would like to see our books there. But I want to let you know that independent bookstores, there are more independent bookstores now than there has ever been. Matter of fact, over 700 independent bookstores and gift stores that sell new books have opened up in the last 6 years. That's a net gain, guys. I'm not talking gross. There were 1,690 independent bookstores and gift stores that sell books 6 years ago. But now, today, there's almost 2,400. Almost 2,400. Those all have opened in the last 6 years. Barnes & Noble, on the other hand, has closed stores. Macy's is closing stores. Kmart is closing stores. Everyone else is closing. But independent gift stores and indie stores are growing. We are, according to the U.S. Census data that came out last November 2016, we are on track to have over 2,800 independent bookstores in the U.S. alone by 2020. And there's other great reasons why you want to focus on independent bookstores, starting with the fact that it is so much easier to get on their bestseller list. Wouldn't you like to be on a bestseller list? Well, you can be. Yes, it would be glorious to be on the New York Times bestseller list, but the way to do that is through sales. And the way to get sales is to get your book into some of these indie stores so that the employees at those independent stores can start recommending your book. While it would be lovely for me to see my book on the shelf of every Costco and on a table in every Costco, there aren't booksellers sitting at Costco recommending my book. However, if you have a novel or a nonfiction book that could really benefit with some direct personal attention, you're going to get that at an independent bookstore in the way you will never get at a chain store. And displays. Displays are the #1 way that people who are wandering through stores get to see and be introduced to new authors. And it is hard to get on a display at Barnes & Noble, and expensive. It costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get even on an end cap or a table at Barnes & Noble. It costs just the teeniest fraction of that, in many cases $25 or $50 to get on a display at a couple of local independents. I also want to tell you that for those of you who are like me, who a few years ago thought that independent stores were dying, absolutely we were right. We were right 5 years ago when we said that independent bookstores were on their way out. But the times have changed. And now, today, 2017, I'm here to tell you, it's all turned around. Independent bookstores that used to be less than 4% of the market, they now are over 11%. Independent bookstores sell just over 11% of the books sold in the U.S. and Canada right now. Now, those numbers come directly from Nielsen BookScan and the Book Industry Study Group last March. And that according to U.S. Census data, independent bookstores sold over $2.8 billion worth of books. That's just books in the last year alone. And for those of you who really want to be at Barnes & Noble and Costco and Walmart, there's nothing like an independent bookstore to prove your way onto the shelves of the chains of big box stores. Rebecca Forrester here, the author of Hostile Witness. She was a small-town author. She went to a local independent bookstore called Chester County Books in central Pennsylvania. This was a few years ago. They fell in love with her. They fell in love with her book. They started hand selling. Hand selling is when a store employee starts recommending the book on their website, on shelf talkers, one-on-one with customers. Before you know it, they were selling thousands. Guys, one store sold thousands upon thousands of Rebecca's book, Hostile Witness. Just that one store. They sold over 4,500 copies in 90 days alone. Well, the world took notice. Next thing you know, independent stores and chain stores all over were ordering copies. She went on to get a huge publishing deal and is now a USA Today and New York Times best-selling author. All of that happened because she started at independent stores. They gave her the attention she needed. She gave them the support they wanted. It was a great start to a wonderful career. And Sam Marquis, this is one of our students, actually. Daniel and I have known Sam for a while. We met him last summer. We got him into 20 bookstores in the first week. And by we, I mean we trained him and his team. Sam was not particularly interested in selling himself. He wanted us to find him an assistant. I said, well, we can't do that, but I'll show you how. And so what we do here sometimes when we teach people, sometimes they want to have us teach an assistant or a local college kid or a niece or a nephew. Some of the training that Daniel and I offer is perfectly appropriate for you, but it's also great if you want to hire an assistant. That's what Sam did. He was in 20 bookstores in the first week, and less than 5 weeks later was in Barnes & Noble. Lots of Barnes & Nobles all over Colorado. He's now selling hundreds of copies every week of his books. And finally, why bother with indie stores? Because I want to talk about Amazon. Amazon has millions upon millions of books and thousands more showing up every day. It is very hard to get any attention on Amazon. However, it's very easy to get attention at an independent bookstore. And if people are wandering through their local bookstore and they see your book and they like it, our experience, Daniel and I have found that yes, they may buy it at the independent bookstore, but a lot of people will go home and order it off of Amazon. What if your Amazon sales could go up 130%? Because that's what's happened to my clients. On average, my clients who decide that they're going to try and put their book and succeed into getting into independent bookstores, they find that their Amazon sales spike through the roof. They more than double. And it happens right in line with when the books start hitting with the independent marketplace. So if you're trying to drive your sales online, wouldn't it be nice to also have your book in some stores? It's almost like you're getting paid to advertise your book to browsers, because you do get paid for the book, and when people buy it, even if they buy it on Amazon, at least your book is getting a fair shot. And I don't care where people buy your book from as long as they buy it. What Daniel and I want to do is we want to focus, and we want you guys to know that independent bookstores, stores like Powell's and Anderson's and the Tattered Cover and King's English and Politics and Prose, these guys, they may not be as high in your consciousness as Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, but they can do so much more for you. And you can do a lot for them. It can be a relationship that really works for both of you. Forgive me, I had to cough for a moment. Daniel and I were hanging out last week. I caught him a bit of a cold. I'm hoping he didn't catch it too. And so forgive me for that little lapse. I just had to cough for a second. All right, so we do have a question. Am Callan wants to know, what if you're outside of the U.S. in Europe? Am, I'm assuming it's AM, or forgive me if I'm not saying your name properly. If you're outside of the U.S. but you want to sell in the U.S., this next hour still will work for you. I will address that when I talk about what it is bookstores are looking for. So now for some of you, this advice might not be a great fit, and if we come across that, I'll be honest with you. But for you, Ann Callan, you're in great shape. Hang on, I'm going to help you out. So I'd like you to imagine a place that's a little different from Amazon, a place where you don't have to compete with so many books. Independent bookstores will often, they have to be a lot more picky because they don't have the same space that Amazon has. However, it's much easier to be seen in those stores. But there's other kind of independent stores too. Other kinds of independent stores, not just bookstores. There's yoga studios, vitamin and health food shops, auto dealerships, believe it or not, ice cream shops. I have a client who sold a lot of cookbooks, dessert cookbooks in an ice cream shop, a small regional chain here in upstate New York. Hardware stores, pet stores. If you got in your car right now with a friend, and I give this advice a lot, and this is the first little tidbit I'm going to give you guys. I want you to write this down. If I were king and tyrant and you had to do everything I said, I would make you do this because I know it will benefit you. I would make you get in the car with one of your best friends or worst enemies, I don't care, but with somebody else. Let them drive. Make them drive. You sit in the passenger seat and drive around all the different neighborhoods in your city. Drive past all the different strip malls. Go into the parking lot. Drive slowly past each store. And either using your phone to take a video or jotting down with a piece of paper, whatever you prefer, I would strongly recommend that you write down or somehow register every retail and business that you see. See, I've lived in Rochester, New York for a while now. I think I know all the businesses on my street. I live downtown. I live in an urban area. Yet when I did this, when I sat in the passenger seat and drove down Winton Road, I was amazed at how many businesses that I was writing down that I had no idea they were there because I never thoroughly looked. There was a store dedicated only to cat owners. It was a cat boarding place plus a cat gift shop. It was a cat-themed place. Well, I don't have a cat. I've got a dog. So I never saw the cat store. But what if my book would have been perfect in that store? There are stores and there are retailers that and businesses that I don't even see because I'm so used to what I think I know. If you drive around your city for an afternoon, you will be amazed at the places that you come up with that you might think your book is a good fit. If you've written a how to take care of your elderly dog book or a novel that's featured on a ship, then I want you to think about, the hardware stores where they sell pet supplies. I want you to think about travel agencies as you drive by, but you're not going to think of these things unless you're driving around seeing them. This exercise will so be worth your time, I promise. All right, so there's my first little bit of advice. And once you have the list of retailers and companies where you think your book belongs, now it's time to think about approaching the business. You're going to either walk in, email. We're going to walk through this in the next few minutes. Don't worry, we're going to tell you how to approach them. But before you approach them, one of the best things you can do is figure out what it is they want. This next exercise, these questions and answers we're about to go through. What does a buyer want? What does a buyer need? What does a store need? Or what does a business need? If we know the answers to those things, we are not selling our book to an independent bookstore. We are not selling our book to a hardware store. We are offering our book to a company that has certain needs. And our book will it'll either allow us to fit those needs and service those needs or not. Now, I've got a question here from, I think it's pronounced Manzai, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, asking, what about if you only have an ebook? Well, Manzai, if you only have an ebook, independent bookstores sell ebooks. They do. They sell it through Kobo, Kobo.com. And if you go to indiebound.com, you will be able to find some information about how independent bookstores actually sell and service ebooks. While today's lesson is more about print books, I'll be honest with you, there is a way to convince those independent bookstores that do sell ebooks through Kobo, K-O-B-O, that you want to do business with them. And this information that we're going through will cover that. So what does a buyer want? What is it that we can learn that will stop us from selling our book to a company, but instead address the needs of that company and figure out if our book is a good fit or not? Well, the first thing that any company wants, and the buyer that I'm talking about is a company employee whose job it is to figure out if your book belongs on their shelf or not. The first thing that a buyer wants is they want books that are going to make them money. It is not even an independent bookstore, it is not an independent bookstore's job to give an author or a book a chance. They don't have the time, the money, or the space to give every book, or even some of the books, a chance. They need to have some idea that the book that they've agreed to bring onto their shelves and to bring into their stores is going to make them money. And I can show you how to convince them that that could be your book. They want to work with authors that understand this. As beautiful as your book is, as wonderful as the writing is, what they need to do, what they want to do is work with authors that understand that these guys are in business, that it's all about the money. If they give your book a chance, if they take a risk on your book without any idea whether or not your book's going to make them any money, and it doesn't make them any money, what's happened is they have taken a book off their shelf that was making them money, that was paying their rent and helping them keep the lights on, and replaced it with a book that didn't help them pay the rent or keep the lights on. And they might, I'm not saying they will, but they might get in trouble with their bosses. And if they're the owners, they'll get in trouble with their wives or husbands. So they want to work with authors that understand this. They want a book and an author that will drive people into their stores. While it's wonderful to think of all the people that just wander around bookstores willy-nilly every Saturday afternoon with a cup of coffee in their hand and browse the shelves, that is not how the majority of sales happen. The vast majority of sales happen in our country through word of mouth. People hear about a book from their friends, they read about it in a review magazine they like or in some sort of periodical that they enjoy, and they go looking for the book. So we're going to teach you how to get your book into the public eye. And the buyers want to know that you are an author or a publisher that will drive people into their stores. We can show you how to do that, and we can show you how to convince the store that you're that kind of author or publisher. And finally, buyers are just like anyone else. They want to look good to their bosses, and they don't want to add a lot to their to-do list. So if you can help them look good to their bosses by making their job easier, if you can help them leapfrog over a couple of steps and just bang, figure out that your book's going to make them some money, help them get the order placed and get it on their shelves with as little trouble as possible, they're going to look very competent to their bosses. They're going to remember what a help you were, and they're going to want to work with you. All right. All right. Dwarnett, I know I'm not pronouncing that right, but hi, Dwarnett, would like to know how to sell CreateSpace books into indie stores. Take the order and check. Okay. Dwarnett, we will absolutely cover that. Selling your CreateSpace book is actually an entire course that Daniel and I have taught, and we've put up on our closed Facebook group we run, but I'll give you the short answer. It is possible. There's a number of steps, and I can't go into it right now, but I will be able to go into it at the end of the hour. I try to answer as many questions as I can during the presentation, but this is one that may take a few moments. So if it's okay with you, hon, I want to answer this at the end of the hour because we're going to go through a Q&A period when this is over. Any questions I don't get to, I will stay on the line and I will answer every single one of your questions all the way through. You have my promise. If I don't see them or if I somehow can't answer them during the presentation, I will be answering them after. What does a buyer want? They want books that will help them make money. They want to work with authors that understand it. They want books and authors that will drive people into their stores. And they want to work with people that will help them look good to their bosses and make their job easier. That can be you. Because a lot of you have heard from independent and chain stores, we don't sell print-on-demand books. That is just not true anymore. Book and gift stores everywhere can and do buy books. The Book Industry Study Group did a poll back in October of last year, and 87% of the independent bookstores polled, and there was over 1,200 of them. 87% of them said they do buy from self-published authors and independent publishers. That is a huge amount when you think of the fact that there's almost 2,400 of them out there right now. So if you've heard from somebody, we don't buy print-on-demand books, this is what they're actually saying. We don't want to buy your book. Or they're saying, I'm an employee who was told we don't buy print-on-demand books, but I don't understand why. And the last thing that they could actually be saying is, I don't buy print-on-demand books because they're non-returnable and because I don't get a deep enough discount. All three of these real reasons can be overcome by understanding what it is the buyers actually need. If they need returnable terms, you can offer them. If they need a book that's going to make them money and drive people into their stores, I promise you, I swear on my mother's eyeballs, they will happily buy your print-on-demand self-published book, and they will do it with a song in their heart and a lightness in their demeanor, because they will buy any book that's going to make them money. You and I can show them how your book is actually going to fit all their needs. You're not selling them your book, you're answering their questions and you're answering their needs. So don't worry about print-on-demand. Don't worry about what used to be true. 5 years ago, print-on-demand books didn't have the quality they do now. Daniel just got his book published both on CreateSpace and printed on Ingram Spark. And Daniel, you were telling me that you were blown away by the quality. Things have changed so much in the last few years. So let's talk a little bit about print-on-demand. Print-on-demand is a business model that allows digital printing and all of the shortcuts that go with digital printing that allows them, the print-on-demand companies, such as Ingram Spark, to sell your book to wholesalers, which will allow it to be available to bookstores and libraries. If you're interested in bookstores, gift stores, and library access, getting your book listed and getting your file uploaded to ingramspark.com is definitely your first step. But there's also CreateSpace. CreateSpace is terrific for Amazon access. And you should take that exact same file that you uploaded to Ingram Spark, and you should upload it to createspace.com. There are a few caveats, such as if you got your ISBN from CreateSpace, you're not going to be able to send the same file up to Ingram Spark. We will cover all of that at the end of this hour. But for now, if you have your own ISBN, you send the same file to Ingram Spark and CreateSpace. Amazon will buy their book from CreateSpace. Bookstores, gift stores, pet stores, and libraries will buy from Ingram. And even though I was poo-pooing Barnes & Noble, I love Barnes & Noble. And they've recently gotten to the print-on-demand market. Used to just be ebooks, but now Nook Press also allows you to put your print book up through their print-on-demand system, and you can get your book onto the shelves of Barnes & Noble and onto their website simply by going through Nook Press. And while it's not up and running yet, Books A Million just announced last fall that they're partnering with Fast Pencil for print-on-demand, and once Fast Pencil has their information up and ready to go, I will be telling all of you how to address them. All right. Now, O and Writer says the Ingram Spark is not for novices. I completely agree. However, one of the nice things about what Daniel and I teach is we actually have a video and a step-by-step tutorial that walks people through how to sign up for Ingram Spark, how to upload their book, and we help them do it. If you guys at the end of this hour, if you decide that you want to actually join Daniel and I in our closed group and to join any of the programs that we're offering, one of the things that comes with that is my help in getting up on Ingram Spark. So you're right. I totally agree with you, and writer. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's worth it at the end. All right. How does it work? How does the money work? How do bookstores, pet stores, hardware stores, yoga shops, how do they get the books? The books that are right now are just sitting on your computer. How do they end up getting the books in their hands? Well, this is a little how it works. It starts with you as the author or the publisher presenting your book to stores. We're going to go into exactly how to do that. But let's say you pick up the phone or you drop an email and to your local pet store or your local bookstore and ask them to consider your book. And the store decides to order your book. They're going to order it from a wholesaler. Most pet stores, hardware stores, and bookstores, although you would prefer that perhaps that they order from you directly, they're going to prefer to order from wholesalers. Wholesalers may buy the books from you at a slightly deeper discount than you like, but at the end of the day, it's so much better for you and the store to not be dealing with shipping out books, because when I'm done with you guys, you're going to be in hundreds of bookstores, hundreds and hundreds of stores. You do not want to be sitting in your garage in February in upstate New York putting packages together to hundreds of stores. You want the wholesalers to deal with that. The wholesalers will then turn around and order your book from the print-on-demand company. If you're at Ingram Spark, that's great. If you're not, you perhaps have checked extended distribution on CreateSpace. At least then the book is available for sale, and while they may not get it non-returnable at the full trade discount, it is available. So the wholesaler will order the book from the print-on-demand company, and the stores will then get the book and sell it to the customer. My mom is walking through the store. She sees a copy of your book. She picks it up. She decides to buy it. The stores will then pay the wholesaler. The wholesaler will then pay the print-on-demand company. So my mom gives them the $15. The store will then give the wholesaler $10. The wholesaler will give the print-on-demand company $9. The print-on-demand company will then pay you, and they'll give you, they'll take their printing costs out. They'll end up giving you $5, and you then have $5 in your pocket that you can use to promote the book some more. And the whole cycle starts over again. It starts with you presenting the books to stores. Stores are ordering it from wholesalers. Wholesalers getting it from the print-on-demand company. The store is getting the book, selling it to the customer. Stores pay the wholesaler. The wholesalers pay, let's say, Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark pays you, and you've got another $5 in your pocket. I hope that makes sense. That's just a general overview. It is certainly not that's not every scenario, but if you're print on demand, it's the one that happens most often. The most nerve-wracking part of this is right here. I'm moving my mouse. I hope you can see it. Publisher presents book to stores. That's a scary part. How do we do that? What do you need to convince people to buy your book? You're going to need a killer cover letter, which I'm actually going to read out loud for you in a few minutes. You're going to be able to do your own cover letter in the next few minutes. But you're also going to need a few materials. Some of the materials that bookstores are used to seeing, they want to see them from Simon & Schuster, and they want to see them from you. Some of these materials include a sales sheet. A sales sheet is usually a one-page sheet that has your book data on it. You will notice here the ISBN. Here's a copy of the cover. Here's the title, a little bit about the book, the name of the author, a little bio about the author, but also right down here on the left is the page count, the trim size, the format, how much it costs, who the publisher is, how to get a hold of people, what wholesalers is it available at. You need a one-page sales sheet that can be sent to the store, because this is what they're used to seeing when a professional publisher or a savvy author approaches them and asks them to consider your book. You also, in addition to a sales sheet, you need a marketing and PR plan. And a marketing and PR plan is not as scary as it sounds, I promise. I always say that you should start with current sales numbers. But what if you don't have any? What if you've only sold 42 copies of your book and it's been out since November? No big deal. What if you've sold 42 copies of your book and it's been out since November the year prior? Still not a big deal. What you need to do is come up with a list of what you've done so far to drive sales and what you plan on doing in the future. And this plan is not difficult. While Daniel and I include samples and ideas in our course, I can tell you right now, I can give you, get out your pen, I'll give you a couple of my favorites. One of the things you can do that will impress bookstores is you can every day start reaching out to bloggers and book reviewers, asking them if they would like to review your book or interview you. Reach out to a couple of them a day. Google them. Just go to Google and Google, book reviewers or book bloggers. Or if you're a nonfiction author or a children's book author, children's book review, children's book author blog. Jason would like to know if we can see the slide with the sales sheet again. You absolutely can. I'll do that right now. Guys, if those of you, there will be a replay of this. You are welcome to watch the replay when it comes up, but I would recommend that you do some screenshots here because I'm not going to be able to go back and forth on all of them. But here you go, Jason. Enter the Land Beyond wants to know, does that mean you need to pay the print costs before you ever get paid for the book? No, see, that's great. I'm so glad you asked that. The glory of print on demand is this. You do not pay the print cost of the book until you're paid for the book. If my mother orders a copy of your book, Enter the Land Beyond, and it's ordered at the bookstore and they go to the wholesaler and the wholesaler goes to the print on demand company, the print on demand company is not going to ask you for the $4.20 that it costs to print your book. What they're going to do, they're going to hold that what they think you owe them until they get paid, and then they will take it out of what they owe you. So if they owe you $7 and you owe them $4 for your book, they'll send you $3 net. I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, take a snapshot of this because I'm moving on. This Applegate Valley Publishing, I absolutely love Debbie. Debbie has come out with a gorgeous a set of gratitude journals, and here's her marketing plan. Taking a look at what she's done, she did not have any sales figures to speak of. She didn't have current sales numbers. So what she did was she came up with a list of endorsements, nice things that people said about her book. She talked about all the different radio shows she was going to try and get onto. She talked about the different newspapers and magazines where she was going to send copies of her book for possible inclusion. All they're asking for, guys, is your plan. They're not asking you what you've actually done or what they're not asking for you to sign an affidavit. You just need a plan. If you're unaware of how to market and publicize your book, that's another class that I am afraid I won't be able to teach you today. But putting a marketing and PR plan together is not difficult, and we are happy to help if you decide to join our group and to join our program at the end. But for the next hour, just finishing up, I just want you guys to know a marketing and a PR plan is important. And then it's time to start reaching out. First, you're going to reach out to the wholesalers with this sales sheet and with your marketing plan and a killer cover letter. And the wholesalers such as Ingram, Baker & Taylor, Bookazine, America West, Lori's. If you're into gifts, if you're a children's book author or you have a gift book, Lori's is the key for you. If you're a Mind, Body, Spirit, New Age author, try New Leaf. Take a snapshot of this, guys. This is a really good list of wholesalers. Bookazine's based in Bayonne, New Jersey. America West, a regional wholesaler based out in California. Ingram and Baker & Taylor are the two largest. They're nationwide. Lori's and New Leaf, they're gift store wholesalers. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list of all the wholesalers out there. But this if you can reach out to these 6 wholesalers and ask them if they'll work with you, you're in great shape. And for those of you who agree to go through Ingram Spark or choose extended distribution through CreateSpace, you will already be in Ingram. Ingram works. Ingram is the wholesaler, of course, Ingram Spark being the sister company. Ingram is the wholesaler that Ingram Spark sells to. But Baker & Taylor will also order from Ingram Spark if pressed. Bookazine, America West, they'll order directly from you. You'll have to print 10, 20 copies if you get an order, but how cool would it be to have Bookazine and America West place an order for 5 copies and start selling it to bookstores in their area? Same goes for Lori's and New Leaf. And For those of you who are still saying to yourself, why do I have to work with wholesalers? Here's some of the things that I've been hearing from buyers over the last few years. Buyers have said to me directly, if a wholesaler has the book, I know it's legitimate. There's a lot of authors out there and self-published books that did not go through a vetting process. They're not up to snuff. Your book, if you're a student of Daniels, your book is most likely up to snuff. But if a wholesaler has decided to list your book, whether they stock it or not, if it's listed, then the bookstores are going to give your book a lot more credence. You're going to have a credibility that goes so much further than somebody whose book is not listed at a wholesaler. I've also heard, I place my orders once a week. If my wholesalers don't have it, the book does not get ordered. And I can back that up. When I was a buyer, I would hear about books all week. I'd put them in the kitty. I'd put them in a till. And on Monday, I would hit send. And I'd send my order to Ingram. And anything Ingram didn't have, I would turn around. I'd send the order to Baker and Taylor. And if they didn't have it, I'd send it to Brodart. If none of those three had my book or was at least willing to order it for me, I canceled the order. Not because I was a pain or I was lazy, but who has that kind of time? These buyers don't. They're busy, so get your book into the wholesalers. And finally, I don't have time to set up a new account every time I find a book I want to try. Your coffee table book about dachshunds who play with tennis balls may be adorable. It may be exactly what your local pet shop wants. But just because they want your book doesn't mean that they either have permission or, even if they're the owners, the time to set you up in the system, get your address, get your W-9, set you up in their accounting system, cut you a check once a month. It's a huge pain. They would much rather just include your book in their order with the wholesalers. So, Tina Hapala, oh guys, I am so sorry about the pronunciations here, but Tina wants to know, is Lightning Source a wholesaler or just a printer? So here you go, guys. Lightning Source is a print-on-demand company that owns a whole bunch of digital printers. And it's a business that uses digital printing, holds your book file sitting in their computer until they get an order from a wholesaler. Ingram Wholesaler is another company completely. It's owned by the same family. The Ingram family in Laverne, Tennessee is good at many things, but they're pretty bad at naming their companies. They've got Ingram Distribution, Ingram Wholesaler, Ingram Entertainment, Ingram Trucking, Ingram Spark, and Lightning Source is the exact same thing as Ingram Spark. Lightning Source was a company that the Ingram family bought several years ago, and they are now rebranding it Ingram Spark. There is Lightning Source out there, but they're the same company. They do the same thing. Tina, I hope that answers your question. Ms. Mash wants to know about Author House. Tracy, tell me, I'm going to get to that question. I'm going to keep going for a minute, but can you type what you mean about Author House? Because I don't know what you mean, what about Author House? I'm afraid I need a few more words in that sentence. Janet wants to know if the wholesaler advice also applies to regional or local books. Absolutely. So if you're on the East Coast, you want to go to Bookazine. If you're on the West Coast, you want to go to America West. Mississippi River might be the dividing line. But Janet, wholesalers are preferable even if you're a regional or local book. If you decide that you want to hit your area on consignment, I'm going to tell you guys now what consignment is. Consignment is when you walk or call or email a store and say, would you like to take 4 copies of my book, put them on your shelf, and you don't need to pay them, you don't need to pay me for them until they sell. And at the end of every 30 days or 60 days, you call all the stores that have your books on consignment, find out how many they sold, and send them an invoice, and they will pay you. Stores are willing to do this for local or regional books and local and regional authors, but I want more for you guys than that. I want, Houston area authors up in Chicago. I want Chicago authors. I want their books in New York. It doesn't work as well unless you're on the regional area. So, forgive me guys, again, I have a bit of a cold. I just need to take a quick sip. One moment, please. All right. I see that there's a couple more questions coming in. I am going to get to all of them. But let's finish up by talking about the approach. I'm going to answer all your questions about Author House and Baker and Taylor. I promise. Give me a second. But we're talking about the approach, how to approach wholesalers and retailers with your book. Remember when I told you I was not a salesy person? I know it's hard to tell because I sound like I've got all sorts of confidence and that, I'm a chatter. I'm not. I have learned this. I have learned that I have something to offer. I learned that my experience and my writing can be of help to authors and to publishers. And because I can be of help to some authors and publishers, I have learned to stop being, it's just happened over time. I've stopped being nervous about asking authors and publishers to consider letting me help them. My approach to you is, if you want to get into bookstores and pet stores and hardware stores and in some cases, all different retailers, including some of the chains, if you'd like my help, I can offer that help. If you don't need my help, if it's not a good fit, if you can't afford the class, there are other things that may come into play. That's okay. But I'm still going to offer my help. And that is how I am able to come across to you guys so chatty and so friendly and not at all nervous, even though I'm terrified. I'm terrified all the time that people are going to reject me, that they're going to say no thank you. But it doesn't matter because I can be of help to certain people. All right, so let's talk about the approach that you can use to be of help to these retailers. Here are some of the things I want to remind you that the buyers are going to want to know. Now, we've already covered this. Number one, they want to know what you're going to do to create demand because they're looking to work with authors and books that are going to drive people into their stores. They want to know what promotions and discounts you can offer because they want to buy books that are going to make them money. If you have a $15 book but can only offer them a 20% discount, you're not going to make them anywhere near as much money as the $15 book, just like yours, that somebody can give them a 40% discount. Bookstores need a 40% discount. They want to know what marketing dollars and efforts you can offer. So if they've got display options, if an independent pet store or independent bookstore has got a front window and they want to charge you $100 to put a stack of your books in their front window and on a big front table, are you willing to give them a $100 credit off their order? Called cooperative advertising. If they want $100 off the invoice in exchange for putting you on a front table, are you willing to do that? Let me answer that for you guys. Yes. Yes, you are, because it is a fantastic way to sell tons of books. And they want to know about potential sales. They're going to want to know, is your book online? Is your book out there? Are you promoting it? And if you are, what sort of potential sales can you give them? And now it's time to reach out to the buyers. You guys are being so patient with me, and this cough that I have, thank you so much. Charlene would like to know, before I reach out to the buyers, if I can clarify the difference between wholesalers and distributors. Well, I'd be happy to. We'll keep it short, guys, but a wholesaler is a big warehouse that holds a lot of books and has a whole bunch of employees running around picking books off the shelves and shipping them to bookstores. And the wholesaler works for the bookstores. The bookstores are the wholesaler's customer. The bookstores will call up a wholesaler and ask for a certain number of books, and the wholesaler bows and scrapes and kneels down on one knee and says, yes, sir, and goes and takes care of it. They work for the bookstores. The bookstores are their customer. A distributor is also a big warehouse filled with books and lots of employees running around and pulling books off the shelf. But they do not work for anyone except for publishers. A distributor is a big warehouse that a publisher hires, and the publisher says to the warehouse, I want you to go out and I want you to sell my book and take care of customer service and get my book into all of the different wholesalers and retailers out there. See, a distributor can sell a book to a wholesaler. A wholesaler sells a book to a bookstore. You do not need a distributor if you're print on demand. I am going to say that again. If you're print on demand, you do not need a distributor. You should not even think about a distributor. You don't need them. Print on demand costs more per unit to print, but you save so much money in distribution costs, and print on demand includes distribution as part of its model. Charlene, you're very welcome. David, we will get into the kind of marketing dollars or efforts you can offer in just a moment. I actually have a slide about that. All right, so moving on to reaching out to buyers. Do you want to email them? Do you want to mail them via post? What about stopping by? Do you want to make a phone call? Here's the big question. Can someone do it for you? What if you're too busy? What if you're too shy? What is it you're supposed to say? And that's what we're going to cover right now. Here is the sample of a cover letter or an email. I prefer email. Buyers love email. Going through the post is expensive. It costs at least $2, $3 to, and why? Why ship a hard copy of your book when you can just send a PDF of your book? But I want you to take a look. We're going to go line by line through a sample email that I think you perhaps would want to consider sending to your local bookstore. So the subject of the email will be, and the name of your publisher. So the name of my publishing house is New Shelves Books. The name of Daniel's publishing house, I believe, is Real Fast Press. So, but let's start with my publisher. So New Shelves Books wants to promote the tattered cover. Let's say I'm going to the tattered cover in book marketing. So the subject of my email is not, I have a really cool book that I want you to buy. The subject of my email is not asking for something. It is letting the store know that I want to promote them in my marketing. See? The subject of my email starts out by offering them something, trying to be of help. Dear, now, if I'm smart, I've picked up the phone or I've checked the website and I have found out the name of the buyer at Tattered Cover. Now, Tattered Cover just changed hands about 2 months ago, and I am desperately trying to remember his name. I think it may be Al. But find the name out of the buyer. So let's say his name is Al, although I think I have that slightly wrong. But don't worry, guys. I have a database. You can look it up if you need to. But let's say it's Al. Dear Al, my name is Amy Collins. I'm the author of a nonfiction reference book, so you put your category in, that I was hoping you'd consider stocking in your store as a test. Now, this next sentence, I have sold, let's say I've sold 400 copies through the book and online market, and I'm working to move into the independent bookstore market. But if I've written a nonfiction how to take care of your elderly pet book, and this is an email to pet stores, and I haven't sold any books, that next line would actually say, I've sold quite a few copies. You use soft language. I've sold a lot of copies through the book and online market, and I'm working to move into the pet store market. Whomever you're writing to is what you're going to say on this. Oh, well, thank you, Charlene. Kathy. So Kathy at the Tattered Cover is who we're talking to. So we're about to launch a marketing campaign that includes, and in my case, and here's a whole bunch of examples, but in my case, my marketing campaign includes weekly guest blogging, numerous author and book interviews on Huffington Post, thebookdesigner.com, radio interviews. I have a link to some local newspaper advertisements, and I am contacting the Tattered Cover to let you know that there'll be some demand during and after this campaign. So this is not where you put all of your marketing plans. You simply give them the highlights. You're hitting the radio stations. For me, it's mainly about getting into articles. But I would be saying I'm really heavily going to be hitting the Colorado area. I'm going after the Denver Post, and I would be mentioning something specific. The name of your book. We are 3 paragraphs in, and we're now finally getting to my book. Because up till now, I'm talking about all the different ways that I want to drive traffic to their store. The Right Way, ISBN 978 blah, 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 is a book that teaches publishers how to avoid mistakes. And keep it short, guys. Again, if you've written a book about how to take care of your elderly dog, this is not the place to give us 4 sentences. 1 sentence. So the name of your book is My Elderly Dog, ISBN 978. Why do you put the ISBN? Because you want the buyer to know you're making their job easier. Don't make them look it up. Let them just type in the ISBN right now online and take a look at it. Make their jobs easy. They Will Thank You is a book that helps owners of elderly dogs keep their dogs healthy, comfortable, and extend their life for the better. One sentence. You've got a sales sheet. You've got other things. If they want to know more, they're going to look it up. They're going to see your sales sheet as an attachment. But this letter is short. How do you guys feel when you get an email from a stranger that's 4 feet long? How do you feel when you see tons of text in an email? I got to tell you, I read maybe the first paragraph or two, and then either I delete it or I save it till later. I don't want to read lots of text. So the purpose of your cover letter is not to tell them everything you want them to know. The purpose of your cover letter is to get them to like you and to want to respond to you so that you then can tell them everything they need to know in the next email. This is not your only email to them. It's just your first. Then you tell them, once the marketing campaign begins, we'll be directing readers to the stores that agree to stock it. So if you're willing, I'd like to send you a PDF or a print copy for you to review. The name of my book, write it down. It's available at, and tell them the wholesalers it's available at. Again, don't make them work for it. Be their pal. They'll love you. I've attached the marketing plan and an informational sheet for you to review. Please give me a call or just reply with a quick note that it's okay to send, and I'll get you that PDF or book right away. Best, hugs and kisses, schnookums. I don't care how you sign it. Say it any way you want. But then sign the email and send it off with that attachment. I want you to imagine after you send this email, and I'm going to leave this up here for a second, guys. Take a screenshot, grab your cameras. I'm going to count downwards from 5, and then I'm moving on. Everyone ready? 5, 4. I feel so Cape Canaveral. 3, 2. I'm moving on. 1. Okay. This is what your life can look like a few months from now, honestly. I want you to imagine that it's 6 months from now, and you've been sending these emails out. Your book is now in hundreds of independent book and retail stores, because that's how it works. It's how it's been working for me for years. But you're not selling your book. Bookstores have heard of you and your book because you are offering yourself and your book to be of help to them. Book buyers are happy to hear from you. They're starting to see your book sales everywhere. And your Amazon sales have started increasing as well. 6 months from now, you could be in a very different place than you are today. And you can do it all without actually selling your book. It is possible. We have been, in essence, galloping through and running through an overview process in this last hour. But there is a way 6 months from now for you to be in hundreds of independent stores and for you to learn exactly all the ins and outs of how to do this. And this is exactly how the money is going to work. Again, this is print on demand. So if you've printed your book, if you have a $16.95 book, which I'm just using as an example, and you printed it somewhere here or up in Canada, that's great. That means you have even fewer expenses than if you print on demand. But here's how the math works either way. Let's say that 100 stores buy your book, 100 books. Let's say 100 stores stock 1 copy each of your book. Now most of them will at least ask for 2, but let's just say worst case scenario that they stock 1. You will be paid through the wholesalers at a 55% discount. Wholesalers, worst case scenario, want 55% off the retail price of your book. If your book is $16.95, you will be paid $7.63 per unit. So if you sell those 100 books and they sell the 100 books, you will net that first month $763. Now, you need to pay for your printing costs out of that. I get that. If your books print on demand, you may, be as high as $5 per unit. If you printed a run of books, it'll be less. But you sell those books for $763 for those 100, and then more stores start to order. And that's how it works. If you're sending these emails out, and if the books start to sell, which in most cases they do, more stores will start to order. So if 100 books gets you $763, 200 books is going to get you 1,500. 300 books, 400 books. You, at this point, even if you stopped at 400 books a month, just stopped right there and said after 6 months you don't want to do this anymore, that would be over $60,000 sold in the first year. Why? Because bookstores, once they sell your book, they will reorder it. Bookstores want to sell books that make them money. Bookstores are still selling copies of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. They are still selling Who Moved My Cheese. God help them, they are still selling Bridges of Madison County. These are not books that are still getting advertised and promoted. They're books that are successful, and so bookstores are still reordering them. This is not just a pipe dream. This is something that happens over and over again with people who have decided that they're not going to sell their book. They're going to offer their book to bookstores, and that's what I would like to talk to you about. Rhonda Evans Hartman is just like you. She is an author, a lovely woman, but she's a medical professional who wrote a series of books about natural childbirth. She needed some help getting into the stores, so we found her an assistant. We trained her assistant in the same program that I'm offering to train you on, and within the first 3 months, she sold over 800 copies of her book into 260 stores. That was just the first salvo. She is still selling tons of copies because the bookstores started reordering. But what did you expect to achieve? I want again to go through the math. I just want to show you that everything I'm talking about takes about 20 minutes a day. I'm not talking about spending hours every day. I'm talking about sending a few emails out every day, the same emails over and over again, mainly email to start because that's how book buyers prefer to work. If you're more comfortable on the phone, sure, pick up the phone, but emails are usually better. Lots of times book buyers don't have a lot of time to answer the phone and stop what they're doing. If you give your book and your publishing program 6 months, 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that's all I'm asking. That's less, I mean, think about it, guys. That's less than 2 hours a week. If you're willing to dedicate and to give your book that chance, you easily, according to all of my clients' experiences and my personal experiences, you could easily in 6 months be in 400 stores stocked with your book. That 400 stores, now, I'll be honest, will your book take off? Once it's in those 400 stores, will it become a USA Today bestseller? I don't know. But wouldn't you like to be in those 400 stores to find out? Wouldn't you like to give it the chance that it's never had? That's all we're talking about here. We're talking about giving your book and you this chance. We're reminding you that bookstores and gift stores now do buy print on demand and digitally printed books. But getting into an indie bookstore or a gift store is one of the best and easiest ways to get into bigger successes in other chains. You want to be in airport stores? Independent bookstores are the easiest way to get in there. It's how you earn your way in there. Selling and promoting is possible, even if you don't like to sell and promote, and most of us don't. I'm one of them. There is a way to offer your book to bookstores in 20 minutes a day that doesn't feel sleazy or pushy. You can get your book into hundreds of bookstores in the first 6 months because it's all about helping the stores, not selling your book. I want to help you learn how to help the stores decide that they want to try your book. That's what I'd like to do. We're going to what we're going to do, let me quickly see if there's any questions. But what we're going to do is we're going to, okay, here we go. Dwarnett wants to know, when writing a series, do you have to do this each time you publish another in the series? Not as much. If you've written 2 books in your series and the bookstores are loving the first 2 books, a quick email to them or even an ad telling them the 3rd book is out will often get them to order the 3rd book. You just have to send them an announcement. So I am going to cover all of these questions, but as Daniel told you, as he promised at the beginning, we actually have a class that we teach and that we offer. It's an online class. You can take it at your own pace. There's some videos, there's some things that I want to tell you about. And this class is called the Real Fast Indie Book Marketing Program. I'm going to take just a moment. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this program because this program will teach you specifically deep lessons. We've given it an overview right now, but it takes you all the way through the process of what you need to get the materials you need to create that kit. Instead of you taking a quick screenshot and hoping you can figure it out, we have all of them as templates, as Word documents that you can fill out with checklists to make sure you have everything in place. You can learn precisely how to present and speak with buyers in a way that makes you comfortable and them. We have step-by-step how-to tutorials, both in writing and in video, to increase and maximize your sales. And this is going to allow you to leapfrog into success because we have databases of stores and buyers. I really appreciated that Charlene reminded me that Kathy was the buyer, but we have databases where actually all of the buyers are listed, and we want to offer that to you. And this program is available in 3 different ways. The first way is the self-study. The self-study includes a 15 step-by-step tutorial video program that covers every step of the sales process in depth, really deeply. They're short videos, but man, they pack a lot. You can watch them, rewind them, go back and forth all you want. As opposed to going at my pace, like I'm doing right now, you'll be able to go at your own pace. There'll also be all of those materials that I told you about, actual sales sheets that you can fill out on your own. I'll help. Marketing plan templates. I've already done them for you. All you need to do is fill in your information. Outreach cover letters. Not 1, not 2, but tons of them. What happens if you're an author, but not the publisher? What happens if you're the publisher, but not the author? What if you're both? What if you're with Author House? Somebody was asking about Author House. What if you're with someone, like a co-publisher like Author House? We have it all covered in our outreach cover letters. Lots of people need an author sheet, especially if you're a children's book author or a nonfiction author, and you want to highlight yourself as an expert or as someone that they might want to use or interview. We have them in place for you as a template so you can create your own. And what's more important is not just that first email, but what happens when they respond? What happens if a bookstore comes back and asks you questions? We have figured out all the different questions that we could possibly imagine they would come back with, and then over the last 20 years people have asked me, and we have sample follow-up emails for you. And this self-study offer, the videos and all the templates comes to you today for $197. It includes all the training, all the templates, and it also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. $197 is not a lot of money for all the videos plus the templates. Some of these templates that I'm selling, I have used for years very successfully. But when I look at some of the templates that other very, very worthy people are selling, people who know their stuff, our templates, there's a lot more of them, and you can't even buy the templates for less than $500. And for $197, we're selling the entire course plus the templates to you and offering you a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'd like you to consider going to realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. Daniel is going to throw this URL into the chat box for you so you can click on it. Daniel's already done it. Look at that. Daniel's like he's reading my mind. But I want you to know you have my personal and Daniel's personal assurance that if you purchase this self-study program or any of the versions that we're about to tell you and you don't love it, you have 30 days to send me or Daniel an email and say, not for me, and we will refund all of your money. This 30-day money-back guarantee is our promise that you will have more than enough time to learn what you need to learn and to make sure this is something you can do before you proceed. But we also have a VIP course. And the VIP course includes everything the self-study has, all the videos, all the tutorials, the trainings, and the templates, but it also includes the email addresses and contact names for the top 500 independent bookstores in the U.S. It includes the addresses and phone numbers of the top 1,200 vetted generalists, and by generalist I mean overall all the different topics, independent bookstores across the U.S. and Canada that now sell new books. There's a lot of independent bookstores out there that sell new and used books. We have some of those too, but this database of the top 500 includes email addresses, The 1,200 in the next database sells new books exclusively. And we also include the contact information. All of these are in Excel or CSV. All of these are either in CSV or Excel form, whichever you prefer. But it includes the contact information, the addresses, the names, everything you need for the top 500 independent gift stores in the U.S. So if you're a children's book author or a gift store author, this last little bit is very much for you. And the VIP course includes something that people have found very valuable up till now. There's a community online. Oh boy, we've got 2 of them going right now, and there's hundreds. Actually, I think we're over 1,000 now. There's over 1,000 people that hang out on Facebook with me every day and ask me questions. Some of the questions I can answer easily. Some of them I need to do a little bit of research. But here's what you get. You get me in that Facebook group every day, reading your questions, doing the research, and answering them. It's like direct consulting with me for free. And this access through the VIP course is for the next 2 years minimum. You get 2 years of asking me anything you want. You don't understand something, Baker & Taylor turned you down, you need help getting the name of the buyer for Bookazine, I'm your girl. All you do is you go to the Real Fast Indie Book Marketing closed group there on Facebook and ask your question. And what we've also found is that authors are answering each other's questions, often in ways that are even better than I can. But I promise you this, I'm there every day, and you will be able to get your questions answered. The VIP course is not just self-study, it includes my help every step of the way. And the VIP program, which includes all those databases plus my help on Facebook, $397. $397. Now, I think that Daniel's got a deal for you, but right now, $397 is the cost for the VIP program that we're offering. It also includes the 30-day money-back guarantee. All of these do. And the final course, the big daddy, the big kahuna, the VIP plus consulting course. And I want you to go to realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. If you're interested in this, the VIP plus consulting course is everything we've talked about, except I will fill out your applications, write your application letters, and help you apply to wholesalers. I will do it for you. I will absolutely do this for you instead of you having to do it yourself. David's asking how long this offer is available. David, hold on, because Daniel's going to hop on in 2 seconds, and I think he's going to offer you some discounts. He's the business guy. I'm the book expert, but I believe that this offer is good until the end of the presentation. He might I know there's a replay coming, but this offer, the $397, or for the VIP plus consulting course, which I'm about to tell you about, he will answer that in just a second. Daniel's going to hop on. But I also want you to know that this VIP plus consulting course includes an hour of my time. It's you and me on the phone or on Skype or Zoom or anything you want, talking about your plan, coming up with your marketing plan. You don't know how to put a marketing plan together? I'll do it for you. I'll do it with you. We'll sit on the phone. We'll sit on Skype. We'll get this done. If you need a little bit of help getting your cover letters written, if you find that you need a little bit more than you're getting simply from the VIP program, you can actually have the Facebook group, the databases, the templates, the video, and an hour with me, all for $497. My consulting time is $300 an hour usually. And what we're throwing in for $497, you get the entire course by going to realfastindiebookmarketing.com live. You get the entire course, all for $497. So I want to remind you that there's a 30-day money-back guarantee for all of these. If you sign up today for this course and you decide it's not for you, all you have to do is just let me know or let Daniel know. So I'm going to get Daniel on the phone at the moment. I'm going to have him hop on and talk a little bit about our self-study course, our VIP course, and our VIP plus consulting course, because I want him to tell you about a bonus that I think he's offering today, and I want him to talk about his experience doing this class.
Yeah, man. First off, thanks. Wonderful, wonderful job as always Amy. Just getting lots of positive comments in the chat. But I did want to let folks know, if you've ever been on a webinar with me before, especially when it's a sort of a launch webinar. Now, this is the first time, I can't believe this, but this is actually the first time that I've released this training to my own personal group, okay? And to reward you for, number one, being in my group, and also to reward you for being here live with us, because what I'm about to say is only good and available if you could hear the sound of my voice right now, okay? And if you can, you will get the self-study course. Instead of for $197, you can get it today for only $147, or the VIP course for $297, okay? So and I realize if you go over to the realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live, it still says 197 and 397 for those first two tiers. But if you click on the link, when it comes up, it will say 147 or 297, okay, for the VIP course. But again, that's only going to be available if you could hear the sound of my voice today, okay? So head on over there right now. This is a very special deal that I'm giving just for my community, and to basically to reward you for, number one, being a fast decision maker, knowing that you can get value from this, and being able to quickly say, yes, this is for me. Again, the place to go is at realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. You're heading over there right now. That link is in your chat, by the way. And the reason I say it's in the chat is because you can actually click on it from the chat. Or if you're on a rebroadcast or a replay, the links are directly below each one of these choices. So head on over there right now, realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. Okay, so with that, we have questions, I believe.
We have lots of questions, Daniel, and one of the big ones that's coming up is that people are asking is, what if they've already purchased our library, RealFast library system? Guys, the reason why you were on this list that Daniel sent out, the reason why you're on this webinar is because you probably are already a library member. Or if you're not, you have most likely already purchased one of Daniel's other products. If that's the case, we wanted you to know that these deals that he's offering, this $147 and this $297, that was created for you. There's not a lot of overlap, but there is some. There's a little, my advice is always to be helpful. My advice is always, I got to tell you, the advice of how to market your book doesn't change. But we normally offer this course. We've been offering it now only for a month or two, but we offered it, these prices are less than half. Even when we're offering a deal, we're offering these at a much higher rate. And so I want you to be aware that the reason why you're on this list getting this $147 for the self-study or $297 offer for the VIP course is because you are one of Daniel's people, and because he wants you guys to get the benefit of learning this stuff for the independent market. Because once you're in the independent, it's not a huge step to then get into the chain.
Right.
So may I answer a few of the questions, Daniel, that I wasn't able to get to?
Several are asking about the difference between the VIP and consulting package, Lena and Rich. And by the way, happy birthday to you, Rich. I know today's your birthday.
Wow, happy birthday. Well, the difference is, and you guys can you guys see here the yellow, the blue, and the green? The VIP course, these items here in red are things that you get that aren't in the self-study course. And in the green box, these items that you see here in red, they're things you don't get as part of the VIP course. Why spend the $497? because I will actually fill out your applications and do your cover letters for you. You don't need to figure it out. You and I get on the phone for 15 minutes or so, and I drill you. I'm very lovely about it. I'm nice. We laugh, we talk, you can pour a drink if you want, we have a good time. And when the 15 minutes is over, and I've got all the information I need, I go away and I actually create your kit for you, for the wholesalers. And I got to tell you, my assistance helps. Those of you who are in the library group, you know, you've been seeing in our Facebook group that Brigitte, you know, she was saying that she got into Baker and Taylor and that she's been turned down from them several times. I did her application, bam, she's in. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but it's happened over and over and over again, that with a little bit of help, I can help you get into wholesalers. And 2 years of email and online access to me and my staff. You don't get that with a VIP course. You can see me and get to know me through the Facebook group, but you want my email? You want my staff's email? You got some questions? 2 years of email and phone support if you need it, and 1 hour of personal consulting, 1 hour one-on-one with me where we discuss everything that I can do, that I can think of that might be helpful to you, and I help you out. If you want to spend that hour discussing basketball or something, that's great. But what I do is I make you fill out a questionnaire and we come up with an agenda. I do not waste your time, and everyone will tell you that an hour with me, at least at the minimum, lots of people end up getting a lot more than that. So for the $497, you get a lot of help and a lot of assistance. Not everyone needs it. Some people, they just want to go on their own pace, their business. They don't need anything more than just the tutorials on how to shift their message. Great! Sign up for the self-study course. Other people want the community. They want to be on the Facebook page. They want the databases. They don't want to have to look them all up. Great! Then sign up for the VIP course for $297. But if you want the whole enchilada, I would suggest you go for the VIP and consulting course. The 30-day money-back guarantee, there's very little risk. So David is asking what kind of marketing dollars or efforts can they offer besides discounts. David, I'm glad you asked. I have a few suggestions. If you are approaching an independent bookstore, there's a very good chance that that independent bookstore has a website and a printed newsletter that they leave on the counter. Maybe you can offer them some content. Maybe you've got an interesting story that you can write up and share with them that's exclusive to them. Maybe you can do an infographic for them, one of those fun, colorful, cartoony things that gives them the top 10 reasons why you probably shouldn't go topless in February. I don't know what your book's about. I'm just making stuff up because I'm in a mood. But there's lots of things that you can do with your time that maybe won't cost as much in dollars that you can offer to the store. If being on a front of store display does not fit your needs, it's not what you want, but being on their, front and center on their website, there's lots of ways you can offer. I hope that answers your question. Oh, Lena would like to know if I can go back to the previous slide for a second. Lena, I'm so sorry I missed that. I apologize. If you want to type in which slide you're talking about, I'd be happy to show it to you. Toinette, I answered your question. Okay, Rich would like to know, do you wait until they ask before sending a PDF of your book? Rich, it's completely up to you. There is no harm in sending a PDF of your book unasked for. Zero. It doesn't cost you anything. I like to put a watermark on my PDF, splashes across the page that says, review copy only, because I'm not comfortable sending PDFs of my book out willy-nilly. I like them watermarked. But other than that, I can't think of a downside. I usually send the PDF after I get an okay from the buyer, or if I don't send the PDF in the first email, it gives me a great excuse to email them again. Let me explain. Dear Kathy, I'm writing because I'm going to be promoting. I'd love to think. I've got a sales sheet here. I've got a marketing plan. Would love to send you a PDF of the book. If you're interested, hugs and kisses, Amy. First email. And they write back and they say, I'm not interested or I am interested. Here's the deal. If they don't write back, it doesn't mean they're not interested. It means they're busy and they get lots of these emails a day and you haven't sunk through whatever their own particular waded through of their own to-do list. So 2 or 3 days later, you send it again. Dear Kathy, I understand how busy you are, and these are some of the follow-up emails we offer, but I'm going to give you one. Dear Kathy, I understand how busy you must be. I didn't know if I'd gotten lost in perhaps in the spam folder or if there, but regardless, here is a PDF of my book that I thought you might find helpful in making your decision. You embed your cover right there in the email so she can see how gorgeous your cover is. You send her a PDF of the interior, and because you didn't send it first off, you now have a good reason to send her a second email. I hope that makes sense. That's just how I handle things, but everybody's a little different. Dwarnett would like to know if a VA from the Philippines be very successful at this. Dwarnett, I'll tell you that my VA from the Philippines, I use AskSunday.com, is very successful at this. She speaks better English than I do, and her grammar is impeccable in email. Definitely have a lot of time and energy for the VAs overseas. I think they do a great job. The Academy wanted to know about the chances for someone who lives outside of the U.S. You're not the only one who asked this. I'm so glad you reminded me. The answer is you can be very successful in the U.S. if you're going to be promoting here. Sending your book to a U.S. or a Canadian bookstore and asking them to stock your book, but not having any plans to promote your book or to drive sales, you will not be very successful, I'm afraid. But that's true whether you live in Duluth, Georgia, excuse me, or Johannesburg, South Africa. It doesn't. The key is, are you willing to promote? And with the internet being what it is, you can promote your book in Athens, Georgia, even if you're in South Africa, simply by reaching out to the editors and the freelancers in the local papers in Central Georgia and offering them some content that they might be able to print about your book. If you're willing to promote, and we can help with that, you can be very successful here in the U.S. Lots of people are. Enter the Land Beyond would like to know if you can post the link to your website. He'd like to sign up for it, but he can't find it. Okay. I'm going to type the link right into the answer, because if you can't see the chat box, I want to make sure. IndieBook, real fast, indiebookmarketing.com/live. There you go. I've actually answered right in your thing. I hope you can see that.
It's also on at the very top of this slide, by the way, realfast.indiebookmarketing.com/live.
See, that's why Daniel's here, because I'm not that bright. And I am so doped up on cold medicine right now, I barely know my own name. So you guys are being great. You're being very patient with me. Salary would like to know that someone suggested not to take returns from Ingram because of the potential downside. What are your thoughts? Well, Salary, that's true. There's a huge downside. Your books get returned and you have to pay them back the money they paid you. But that is the cost for dealing in the bookstore market. If you insist on staying non-returnable, I have no problem with that. I think that's fine for some people. But it means you will not be in the bookstores. But it does mean you could sell your book in the gift store market and the other retailers just fine. So if your book would fit in children's clothing boutiques or pet stores or hardware stores or yoga shops or ice cream shops, you can stay non-returnable. But if bookstores are important to you, you don't really have an option, I'm afraid, because the bookstore world is returnable and has been since the 60s. As much as I would love to have us get around that, I'm not that powerful. There's a lot of things I wish were different in the world. That's one of them. I'm afraid that if you want to be returnable, then you can be in bookstores. If you choose to not take that risk, which I understand why, but I also want to assure you guys, bookstores are going to order 2 copies of your book, maybe 3. And if 100 bookstores, 200 bookstores, 300, 400 bookstores order your book, 2 each, most of them will sell. And if some of them come back, you will have made more than enough money to offset the cost of your returns. The only time returns really get damaging is when Walmart, Costco, or Barnes & Noble orders 800 or 1,000 copies of your book and they only sell 400. But in the independent bookstore marketplace, that's not how it works. They're as careful with their money as you are with yours. They're going to order just a few copies of your book to start, and as you start selling more and more, they'll order more and more. So don't be nervous about it, I promise. All right. I'd like to remind everyone that the URL is there at the top of the screen. Thank you, Daniel, for reminding me of that. A couple
It's
people want to
also,
know
by
about a
the way,
replay, Daniel.
I'm sorry. It's also in the chat, which is another line item, kind of right below the the questions form field, where you're kind of putting in your questions. The reason I keep saying that that it's in the chat is that's the only place I could actually get that link out to you. Where all you have to do is once you find it and open it, click on it. It will automatically open the browser, and then you can just make your choice of whether you want the self-study, the VIP, or the VIP and consulting course. So that's the reason I'm saying that. Or if you're on a rebroadcast, the links are right below. There's add to cart buttons right below where you're now watching. Yes, ma'am.
A couple of questions about the ins and outs of the business. If
Yes.
somebody goes to realfastindie-bookmarketing.com live and sees that the price is $397 instead of the $297, what are they supposed to? What do they do?
They're supposed to just click on that add to cart button where it says $397, and it will come up $297.
Guys, I want you to click on the button long before you have to give your credit card or anything. You will
Just
see
click on the
that
button.
this deal, and this deal is only good until the top of the hour. It's only good to the top of the hour. Daniel and I are happy to stay here and answer your questions.
Actually, it's only good if you could hear the sound of our voice. So
Oh, sorry. Well, yes.
it
However
may
long.
be
we're
longer
talking.
than the top of the hour. But
All
whether
right.
or not, here's the deal. If you have made the decision to go ahead and grab this, and I just checked, and the orders are starting to roll in now. If you've already made the decision to go ahead and grab this, go ahead and get it right now. I can tell you that the special pricing will be pulled at any time. So if this is something that you want, go ahead and grab it. And especially if you see if you're on a replay or rebroadcast and you see a countdown timer, when this timer counts down to 0, it's over. Okay, so again, my strong advice is to go ahead and grab whatever it is you decided to do to get this offer right now while you're thinking about it. And while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to go ahead and start thanking all the folks that have joined so far. And as I do this, one of the things is we have lots of people still here, and that who have not yet ordered, and I want to help folks make the decision, either yes or no, because in the final analysis, in your gut whether this is right for you. And I just want you to appeal to what your inner voice is telling you, right? And if it says go, then go. And if it says no, then that's cool too. But the fact of the matter is that that you might be helped by hearing what other people have used to decide. So if you have, let's see, well, let's see, if Darlene, I want to welcome Darlene to the call, or to the members area. Let's see, Mary, also, I want to welcome you to the fold. Could you do me a favor? Could you do everyone a favor? Could you go to the questions box, Mary, Darlene or Mary Carroll, excuse me. Go to the questions box and just type in there what it is or why you decided to go ahead and grab this very special deal. And I'm going to read it back to everyone else because it's going to help them make a decision, and it also will help us just to make sure that we are meeting, in fact, exceeding expectations. So if you do that, I'd really, really appreciate that. And so that's Darlene and Mary Carroll. We've got a few more here. Let's see, Melanie, excuse me, also into the fold. Welcome to you. All right, well, we've got more coming in too, and we'll get back. But if you've already made the purchase, just let us know in the chat why it is that you decided that you wanted that you did that. You know, what it is you're hoping to get out of it, why you made that decision today. And we'll read
well,
it back out.
We've got a great question here, Daniel, from @Farmland, who says, does the self-study course go into detail on how to promote and market your book, the things that I'm saying they need to know how to do? And I wrote, and I'm afraid that this course doesn't teach about promotion and marketing. That's a whole nother, that's a huge other topic. However, those of you who are in my library group, those of you who have known me over the last few years and who participate in our Facebook group, so the VIP course that includes the Facebook group, you know this. You know that when we get questions on Facebook that we can't answer, Daniel and I have numerous times, many times, invited an expert into our little Facebook group. We've done little webinars for people on things like publicity, on marketing. What we've done is when we keep hearing over and over again that we have questions about copyright and PCIP pages and the Library of Congress, and Daniel and I look at each other and say, we are not Library of Congress experts. We can't help. We can do the research, but what we did was we got a Library of Congress trained librarian to do a Facebook question and answer session with us, right, Daniel? We brought her in.
Yeah, it was awesome, too.
We get a bunch of questions on marketing and promotion. We'll do the same for you. So the VIP course would definitely be a better fit for you if you need more help than just see, the self-study course is for people who have everything else in place, and they don't need any other questions answered. They just want to get to it. The VIP course is for people who maybe need a little assistance, and the Facebook group will be more than enough where we can answer questions, and if we get enough of the same questions from different people, we'll actually do a special session for them. But yes, the VIP plus consulting course, you can ask me anything you want as often as you send me all the emails you want asking me about marketing and promotion, and I'm happy to answer them. That's what I do. That's why, actually, there is no discount on the VIP and consulting course. A few of you have asked about that. You guys have unlimited access to my email and my Skype, and you get an hour face-to-face for 2 years. I promise it's worth the extra $100, I swear, or the $200. It's 2 years. I'd love to offer a discount on that. I really would, but there's only so much of me to go around. Trust me, my mother is glad for that. She's very happy that there's not enough of me. I get a little tiring. But you guys, you want so that's why we don't offer the discount on that one thing. As much as I'd love to, what you're actually paying for is my time, and I'm happy to give it. I am so thrilled to get to know you guys. Some of you guys have become, there's a woman named Jean Phelps from our library group. She's become a friend. We chat all the time. So if you need more, I would suggest to consider the VIP and consulting course. I really would love to be of help as much as I can.
Yeah, that really is a huge bargain. If at all possible, and you want more of a high touch, and just really some shepherding of you through this process, if at all possible, I would definitely go for the VIP consulting course, and as far as the VIP course, the mid-level, the reason why, if at all possible, if you're kind of weighing between whether you should do self-study and the VIP course, I would strongly recommend, if you can, especially right now with the discounted price that I have for you, I would strongly try to get the VIP course, just because you get then not only access to Amy in the Facebook group and access to our special sessions, but also to the databases. That's like many multiples of value more than what we're asking just for that one piece. Not to mention the step-by-step process and the community and access to Amy that you get. I mean, it's really kind of an off-the-hook deal, especially at $297. So, if at all possible, I would say get the VIP course, and if you need or if you feel like you're more comfortable with having Amy to basically either Skype or have one-on-one contact with, private one-on-one contact with, then please get the consulting level. You will definitely not be sorry that you did, because Amy is just about all kinds of value. And by the way, I wanted to read before I hand it back over to you, Mary Carol. Mary Carol's so funny. She goes, "You're from Texas." I have two names, Daniel. It's funny. Let's see. The biggest problem with selling books is marketing. This Mary Carol is one of the folks that just joined us today. This makes getting your books visible and very easy. The more visibility and exposure, the greater your sales. You could purchase the learning curve. It's exactly right. Well, that's a really good way of saying that. You can purchase the learning curve. Anyone could write a book. Not everyone knows how to sell their books. This seems to give the writer a head start. Now, how eloquent. That is really great. Thank you, Mary Carol, for that. Well, that's the reason why Mary Carol made the decision today. So why don't you, if you've made the decision to go ahead and grab it and you have not yet gotten one of these three levels, head on over to realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/live. Right now, that link is in your chat. So head on over there right now. Okay? So with that, back over to you, my dear.
Lena had asked if I could re-show the page about the approach. Sure. So I'm going to do that right now. The approach. There you go. We also have a number of people asking about coloring books. Coloring books are not as popular as they were a year ago, but they are still hugely popular, especially in the gift store market. So yes, if you are interested in offering your coloring books to different retailers, this class is a great fit for you. There is nothing about this class, nothing, that you wouldn't be able to benefit from, I promise. Coloring books are, okay, I'll be honest with you, they're not what they were a year ago. The demand for coloring books is not where they were a year ago, but they are still enough in demand that I would consider them to be at least in the top 10 of categories. So actually, I know they're in the top 10 of categories in terms of sales. They are definitely worth your time. So I hope that answers your question. Lena would like to know how long it typically takes to know if the effort in the program will work, more or less than 30 days. Lena, it all depends on how fast you get moving. If you start contacting stores in your first week, you will know within 6 phone calls how you're doing and 6 emails. It doesn't take long to figure out at all. We had a student who signed up for this course a few weeks ago, and within 2 days, she was in our Facebook group saying, oh my God, I'm in 6 stores. I'm going to be speaking at this one store. We've had other people that after a week said, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not able to get anywhere. So what usually ended up happening is I coach them a little bit. That's when I get on the phone or on the Facebook group and say, okay, show me your material. Show me what you're doing. And we can usually help tweak. There's a lot of people that buy the course and don't jump right in. And I can't do anything about that, I'm afraid. I mean, so if you jump in and you find you're not getting the results you want, you contact me and I tweak it with you. That's why the VIP course, the middle one at minimum, is such a good deal. Because you reach out to me on Facebook and you will see when you join the Facebook group, there's lots of people who have done this, and I coach where I can, and I do, and if I need to get on the phone, I do. But we are there for you. If you're willing to put in the time, I am willing to put in the time for you as well. You commit to this, I'll commit to this. You have my word. So I hope that answers that question.
And
Charlene, go ahead.
Yeah, and Dwayne, I think, is asking a great question. He says, can a VA also join the Facebook group? And the answer is yes, if they're working on your behalf, but you also have to let us know, who it is, because we do vet. Not everyone gets into the Facebook group. When I let people in, and I see the people requesting to join right now, in fact. But I do go back and I look at who's actually a buyer, because obviously one of the things that we need to do, because there is a limited supply of Amy, as lovely as I have to obviously keep it just for folks that have paid for the privilege to be there. They have to be members, in other words. So that's why, if at all possible, I would definitely go for that middle level, the VIP course. And if you can, do the VIP plus the consulting, so then you have Amy both on and off Facebook. Okay?
Owen Ryder wants to know, with store personnel changes so often, will there be updates to the databases? There have been. Do we guarantee that they will be constantly updated? No, but I go in every couple of months and put in all the changes I know about. See, I've got VAs too that are out there selling to bookstores, and when we find about changes, we put them in, and I do upload new database versions as I can every couple of months. But I'll also tell you that if Joan at myfavoritebookstore.com has moved on, her email is being forwarded to the new buyer. So even if you write Dear Joan and now it happens to be Berta, you'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Charlene, I cannot wait to chat with you. You've got so much going on, but I am so excited. But I want to tell you, don't worry about the older books. We have a plan for that. And I'm going to tell you guys, those of you who've got a book that's over 2 years old, it's a simple process. You republish a new edition of your book with a new ISBN and a new pub date. Just do a new edition. Bam, 2017 copyright date, and we're good to go. A new pub date comes with a new edition. And I will show you exactly how to do that. And so, Charlene, sign up for the VIP Plus Consulting course. I will walk you through it. I'll do a lot of it for you. KFCA, I'm not going to even begin to figure out how to pronounce that, wants to know if you get an ISBN from Amazon, meaning CreateSpace, can you change the ISBN to one you bought from Bowker later? Yes. What you do is you take your file and you put your ISBN and your ISBN barcode on it. And if you're a member of our Facebook group, I actually created a 2-minute video tutorial for everyone to teach them how to put a new barcode on their old book file. It walks you right through it. You put a new barcode with a new ISBN on the back of your book. You upload it to CreateSpace and to Ingram Spark with the new ISBN. Wait till it's everywhere. Ask Amazon to copy your reviews and your information from the old edition to the new edition. And once that's done, you pull the old edition out of print. It's as simple as that. Charlene wants to know about military stores. Charlene, we do cover that. We do. You start by going through the AAFES program, AAFEES. I think it's .gov. I'm not sure if it's a .com or .gov, but the AAFES, there's an application. It starts with an online application. We do cover that. Jay Larson wants to know if this is appropriate for someone who's just starting to write their book. Well, if you're just starting to write, Jay, I would say it's maybe a little early. I'm not going to tell you to jump. I mean, as much as I'd love for you to jump in, if you are halfway through your book, I would tell you that this was a great course for you. If you even had a couple of chapters done, if you were 3 or 4 chapters in, I would say that this would be a great fit. But if you truly are just starting to write, if you're 800 words in, not a great fit. You're 3,000, 10,000 words in? Yes. Probably. Because we can teach you so much. There's so much about publishing we can teach you.
Well, it's not just that. It is that, but more. It's actually also weaving in what can go into your book to make it actually more saleable and more beneficial for you that you would learn along the way. That if your book was out, it's a lot harder to weave that stuff into your book. So in a lot of respects, it really is a good fit if you're still writing your book or you're just coming out with one. Okay.
Great.
So I hope that's.
Lena wants to know how soon I start working with people after they get started. Very soon. I mean, we do ask that you actually go through and watch the videos and take the course so that you're not spending your hour with me asking questions that perhaps were covered by the videos. But as you go through the course and watch the videos and get everything down, you will come across a questionnaire that we ask people to fill out. You send that questionnaire in, I contact you, we set up an initial meeting, a 15-minute meeting, we get to know each other. And once I, do all the research that you want, we then set up another hour. That's when you get your hour call after that. So it happens very fast. Again, if you're motivated, you and I can be on the phone in a very short period of time after you've gotten through. We ask that you at least watch the videos once, and they're not long. Daniel I'm a little long-winded. He's constantly editing them down, so you guys aren't sitting through 20-minute videos with your eyes rolling in the back of your head. They're short. They're very, very focused, and I think that some people find them enjoyable. Other people at least find them palatable. I think you'll be fine, Lena, but you and I can be working together, and you can be sending me emails and asking questions immediately. As for the one-on-one hour, as fast as you can get through the class.
Yeah,
Barnett would like to know if,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that folks knew why because one of the things that this isn't like our first rodeo, and one of the things that was happening a little earlier in the genesis of not this program but our library marketing program is that folks would call and then want Amy to basically teach the class, which is like fine, but you only get 1 hour, right? It's just a much better use of your time and her time if you go through the course, come up with your specific questions, intelligent questions, which you will form based on what you're hearing and your own circumstance, and it just makes it so much better use of your time. So that I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that. My job is to protect Amy's time.
Which I appreciate, but I'm not that good at it. So guys, just don't tell Daniel, and we'll just slide around him. Okay, Osa the Gator, I know I have that wrong, is asking if there's, and he's not the only one, or she, is asking, is there quite a bit of duplication in this course from the library course? Some, not a lot, but yes, there is some, which I want to remind you, which is, again, why Daniel's offering this course at such a discount. If you've been through the library course, you will hear similar advice, but it is not, it's all new databases. The one sheet sales sheet template is the same, but it's a very small percentage of overlap, but there is some overlap. And because of that, we are now offering this program for $147 for the self-study and $297. These courses are usually $397, $497, and $697. So we're offering them at far more than 50% discount, and that is being offered specifically for you guys on Daniel's list because we know that most of you are probably in our library group as well or have taken other classes from Daniel, and we want you to feel that you're getting a good deal. We don't want you to feel taken advantage of or in any way that we're not aware that there might be some overlap in the advice, and that's why we're offering the discount. It's such a good deal. All right, a couple more questions. eLearn is saying that they have a book and they're planning a journal to go with it. Can you market them together to stores? That's actually the best way to do it. Independent bookstores, the same buyer will often buy the journals and the books. In some cases, it's two different people, but we will go over that when you're ready, how to pitch both a book and a journal together. The same thing's true if you have a book and greeting cards. Independent stores are the perfect place to do that. Let's see. Oh, Charlene, I'm so looking forward to working with all of you guys. I'm so excited.
By the way,
Barnett would like to know.
I just wanted to read through. We have a big run of new folks into the program. I just wanted to thank, and also remind you that if you could, we would really appreciate if you could just put into the chat for those names, or for those folks that have already taken action on this. Could you go to your questions box and just let us know why that you have made that decision? And I'm going to read it back to everyone else to help them make a decision. And that will be beneficial for everyone, and it'll also help Amy and I to know what your expectations are as well. But let me read some additional thank yous here. I think I ended with did I say Melanie? Well, Melanie, Virgil, welcome to the fold. Welcome to the family. Barbara and Simone, welcome to you. And let's see, Edith, and Carol Ann is also, and more folks are actually joining right now. Thank you. And let's see, Carol Ann and Olivia, welcome to you. And Gary, welcome to you. And JK, welcome to you. More folks joining right now. And let's see, I left on JK. Marion, welcome. Edith, welcome. Janet, welcome to the fold. Bianca, welcome to the fold. And let's see, and Anthony, welcome to the fold and into the family. Okay, so that's and oh, look, more coming in. Anyway, so if you haven't yet told us why you have yet joined the program today, could you please do us all a favor and just kind of let us know? Lena is also in. Thank you, Lena, for that. Appreciate that.
We have a question, Daniel. Somebody's asking about, somebody had to step away for a minute, would like the discount code. I want to remind everyone, if you go to real fast, indiebookmarketing.com/live, if you, let's see, I'm going to get back to that main page.
Can you take them over there? Could you take them over there?
I'm going right now.
Cool. And just show them what's what. And click on those links.
Yep, hold on. I'm just getting there.
All right.
If you go to real fast, let's see, real fast, Indie. How about I spell it right? indiebookmarketing.com. You guys can all see this, right? /live.
Yeah, we can see it. Live.
And you say, I really want the VIP program. Hold on, we're giving it a second. The VIP, $397. No, I want the $297 deal. You click on Add to Cart. Getting very upset. You see that right there, guys? $297. We have to keep the front page the way it is because after the sound of our voices are over, after this closes out, this deal is over. Yeah. We have to keep the web page the way it is.
And you won't get it for $397 either, by the way. That's it.
So,
okay.
So just I want to go back and I'll show you. You just see it says $197 and I want self-study. I click Add to Cart. Bam, $147 right there. So all of you, just don't worry about it. Click on it, and you'll see that you get the new price. All right, I'm going to go back to this. Can you guys all see that now? All right, so we are looking at a couple more questions. Hi, Bianca. How are you? Good to see you. And
by the way, welcome to Bianca. She also joined.
I'm seeing a lot of people asking to get into the Facebook group. You will be accepted before I go home tonight. I don't care how long, but let me get off the webinar before I have to, because what we have to do is we have to check your name against the name of people who registered. People like Bianca, I know it's you. Great to see you. But we got to get through them all. So just give me a minute, and we'll get you into the Facebook group. Dr. H. Dell says he missed, or perhaps she missed a good part of the course because they were driving home from work. Children's books are great for this type of program, and it is possible to listen to the replay to see what might work. And Daniel, the replay, are you going to email people about that? How is that going to work?
Yes. So tomorrow we will most likely. We are likely to have an encore tomorrow tomorrow night, probably around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So that'll be one opportunity for you to watch again. And by the way, just so that we're clear on what an encore is, I will take this recording and replay it out through GoToWebinar, and either Amy, myself, or Anthony, or perhaps all three of us, like we are right now, will also be in the chat live for you to ask your questions. So if you're here on an encore, hearing the sound of my voice right now, we are here live right now, and you can just type in your questions and we will answer them. If you are on a rebroadcast, which will probably go out the next day, so what's today? It's Wednesday. It'll probably go out Friday morning, or maybe, yeah, probably Friday morning. And then we will run the promotion probably through Sunday. Whatever when you see the countdown timer, that timer is actually automatically will automatically redirect at the end. Yeah, so go ahead and grab that right now.
All right. Well, I think we got through all the questions. Yes, you can use this tutorial to also sell books in other countries. I don't have any databases for the UK or Australia at the moment, but the classes. So if you wanted the self-study course and to learn what I consider to be the right way to approach stores, you can use this to sell to tack shops in the UK, for all I care, horse stores. The concept of learning what a retailer needs and then offering that and being of service is a time-honored sales technique, and the materials that we offer you in the templates will work along any country, and you can even get them translated if you wanted to your own language. But this is a course that mainly, and the database is focused on the U.S. and Canadian market. So.
Okay, great.
Okay, Daniel, do you see any questions?
I wanted to just go through some of these responses. As we've had a lot of people rightly join the program, but we also have a large group who is here, can hear the sound of my voice, who have not yet taken us up on this offer, and I want to help you make that decision one way or the other. And I wanted to read through some of the responses that I asked for a little earlier from folks that already have bought. For example, we have one from Bianca, who says, I just joined. Amy and Daniel are just magnificent teachers. Thank you for that, Bianca. Really appreciate that. Marion says, I'm in for the consulting. I met Amy and Daniel in person last week, and I know it will be well worth it. There you go. Thank you so much for that, Marion. And Matano. Oh, Matano, I'm so glad. I hope you joined because Matano's like a great guy and super smart, and I'd love to work with you again with this program, Matano. At any rate, he says, I had to step away from the webinar for a moment. Could you give me the discount code? Actually, it is already discounted. There is not an additional discount code. If you just click on either the self-study, you'll get it for $147 during this promo, or for $297 for the VIP, or $497 again, because and if you can, I would strongly recommend, Matano, to get the consulting level, just because then you have basically one-on-one access to Amy via email and or Skype for up to 2 years, plus one hour of personal consulting via telephone. So again, the place to go, Matano, is realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. That link is in your chat area right now. And let's see. Thank you for that. And let's see. We've got who else we've got? We got Stephen.
We do have another question about the discount for the $497 level. Mm-hmm. Guys, that's already discounted. I know that, but because the consulting is what you're buying for the last highest level, we weren't able to discount that the way we did the first two, because there is no duplication For instance, there is some overlap, a little overlap in some of Daniel's other classes in this one. We wanted to acknowledge that. We wanted to reward you for understanding that 85% of this data is all fresh and new and you need it. But when it comes to the VIP plus consulting, what you're actually purchasing is 2 years of email and online access to me, an hour of consulting time, and I actually do your applications for you to the wholesalers. We can't discount that anymore, I'm afraid, because that's several hours of my time already. And so I appreciate your understanding, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you. Daniel's always yelling at me that I give too much time and too much, and I will be just as obnoxious and overly giving with you as I've been with all my library people up till now. I promise.
Yes. Okay. I just don't want to burn you out, Amy. You know that, right?
I get it.
Yeah, right. But I'm so pleased with how you've really have cared for our community. It's a thing to behold, and I hope folks get that. All right, so let's see. Stephen says, I bought because the strategies for selling books changes as the publishing industry is changing. Need to pay attention to folks that are succeeding today. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, and so true. And let's see, in KFCA says, I'm in because promotion is over half the game, and I'm only doing this 20 minutes a day. This is a no-brainer. Okay, thank you so much for that. And let's see. Did we answer that one?
You have to say it out loud before I know.
You can't read my mind?
Not today, but only because of the cold medicine.
Yes, I know, right? Usually you can, actually. No, we've answered that one. We've answered that one. All right. So let's see. And Lena says, I'm in because I really want to have Amy's assistance, and she sounds like a lot of fun. She actually is a blast. She's more fun than a barrel full of monkeys, as they say.
Which, if you when we become Facebook friends, you will see pictures of me just a week ago playing with a barrel full of monkeys. Honestly.
Literally.
In St. Kitts, I was playing with monkeys just a week ago.
We should have that picture up on this. At any rate, okay, so head on over to realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. This deal is closing here very shortly. So if you've made the decision to go ahead and grab it, go ahead and get it right now while the getting is good. Lena's asking what's the FB page? It's once you get into the members area, you will see it at it's one of the first things you get to, and in fact, let me see. Or can you log into the backside, or so we can show people what the members area looks like? We haven't even done that.
Well, of course I can.
That would be awesome.
Let's see. Hold on.
I can do it. I'm doing it here.
No. I'm the one who's I've got to show them. Hold on. I'm going right. There's my Facebook page. And Real Fast Indie Book Marketing. Internet's taking a second. All right. Okay, so this is not in order of most recent, apparently, but about a month ago I found the most amazing resource, a complete list of museums in the U.S. with phone numbers. I'm putting it up here on Dropbox. So what happened was I got it fell into my lap, a list of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of all of the museums and the museum gift shops in the U.S. So I decided to put it up and make it available for everyone in the group. Let's see, someone asking about coloring books, a lot of questions about, and so this is the page where you guys would go to post a question. We have a very similar page with our library group, and you will see it's we've been doing the library group for over a year. The Real Fast Indie Book page we've only been doing for about a month. And, you know, what people are doing is they're asking questions. Let's see, Peter, couple questions about pricing. You know, how should I price my book? And so all of a sudden, I jump in, a couple other people, telling him he doesn't need to change the ISBN. If he doesn't understand how to reprice, I'm there to answer his questions. And you'll notice that I'm not the only ones answering. There's other people who are jumping in that have experience.
Yeah, and that's the other cool thing about this group is that we have some really, I'm very happy to say, some pretty sophisticated and knowledgeable people in this community. Certainly not everyone's like that, but we have a pretty large percentage of folks that have. This is not their first rodeo. They're pretty knowledgeable, and the thing I love about them is they're very sharing, giving, and get in and answer questions and help folks that have you know, questions about the experience and what needs to, you know, happen.
And Leah was asking about
I'm
WorldCat,
sorry,
and you'll notice that I told her how to get on, but then somebody else said, well, I have the opposite problem. What about Goodreads? Next thing you know, Leah actually has the answer. They're helping each other out. This all happened in the last 15 hours. I haven't even gotten there to answer her question. It's all taken care of. So I just want you guys to know that I am in a couple times a day. At least once a day is my promise, but Daniel will tell you I'm in there a lot more than that.
A lot more.
And these questions get answered. And we do not use this page for marketing. We do not allow other people. You will not be spammed. This is all about a community and getting your questions answered. So here you go.
Oh, can you also log into the dashboard of the actual members area?
Real Fast Indie Book. Marketing.com. Oh wait, I'm in. This won't work here. Hold on one second. Real Fast Indie member login. Hold on one second. Already logged in? I am.
Okay, so here is the, you were asking, someone was asking how to join the Facebook group. Well, right up at the top of the page, it kind of tells you. Click here
right
to join
here.
Facebook.
See that?
Yep. And then kind of, if you can kind of scroll through and show folks what it looks like, so that, you know, basically it's just very sequential. You're meant to just watch the videos and go through one at a time.
Here's the one on materials to send to buyers. And what you not only get is the video time is 11 minutes, 57 seconds long, but here's all the downloads. Here's the marketing kit, one-sheet template, marketing kit, and all of these, including Word docs, so you can cut and paste. Look at all of these templates just in this one module. Every module has its own download.
Yes. So, well, there you go. I just wanted folks to see what the actual members looks like, the members area, excuse me, looks like. And there you go. Okay.
Now, and there's a bonus here. Number 17, how to outsource your book marketing. If you buy and if you sign up, one of the things you may decide to do is to hire a VA. This training will actually teach you the best way to work with other people. We've got templates on non-disclosure agreements if you feel like making them sign one. But we also include different training resources. Here on number 17, let me click on that again. Different training resources such as what does your cover letter, what should it look like? These sorts of things. So this video, how to work with a sales assistant, is very important.
Excellent. And by the way,
so there you go. Here is the main dashboard.
Yep, thank you for that. And just if you head over to the PowerPoint one last time, and I just want to, we have new people to thank that have joined us. Edie has joined the family. Welcome to you. Who else has joined? We have Connie. Connie is joined. Welcome to you, Connie. Shirley has just joined us, so welcome, welcome to you. And if you're sitting on the fence, wondering whether this is something that you should do, I will just I'll just remind you. Well, two things. I will. You know at this point we've been on for a couple hours, and you know Amy's teaching style. You know kind of how we operate. You've looked at the members area. You know whether this program is for you. And if you feel that, then I'm just going to say, head on over to realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/live and grab one of these levels, because each of them are backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So all of the risk is on Amy and I, and none is on you. So really, there's totally nothing to lose here, especially if you've got that little voice telling you, hey, this is what I've been looking for. And many of you have said that. So again, realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/live to get it. And if you can hear the sound of my voice, and you can get it, the self-study for only $147, and the VIP for only $297. We cannot discount the VIP plus consulting course because it's so time intensive for Amy. You're actually getting like hours of her life, which she never gets back. So yes, I'm sorry, you're going to need to pony up a couple $100 extra, but I could assure you that it is money well invested, not spent, invested in you and your publishing and author career. Okay, so head on over to realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/live. Give yourself permission to succeed. This is the path. Okay, so Amy, let's see, anything else before we close up shop here for today?
Lena is saying that when she goes to the website, all that comes up is an ad for the webinar. Is there an actual website that I'm missing? Lena, again, I'm going to type it right in the answer. www.realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/live. And I'm going to show you all right now. Again, no big deal. But I'm going to show you that if you...
I think what she's asking, Lena, because I believe Lena, yes, she did. She is in the program. But if you're seeing that, Lena, what you are seeing is that you are not logged in to the members area. That's why, if for any of you, if you ever try to get over there and you go to the dashboard and it keeps redirecting you to a webinar page where they wants to sign up and there's like a sales thing, that just means you are not logged into the site. That's what it will do. So you have to log into the site, and it's, by the way, realfastindie-bookmarketing.com/member-login if you've never if you've already logged in. So I mean, you have to register, you have to get a username and password. That's what you have to do first if you haven't yet done that, Lena, okay? All right. And by the way, while we're still here, let's show them great product supports, please, Amy, so that if you have additional issues with anything like this, where you can't, you can't get in, there's, I don't know, you lost your username and password, this site, write it down. Okay, write it down right now. GreatProductSupport.com. Those 3 words, GreatProductSupport.com. Come over here, open a ticket, and just let us know. Okay? There you go. Exactly. Put in your email, etc. Just go through and let us know that what the problem is, because this is the way we handle questions. Okay? All right. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Are you in, Lena? And by the way, you would have gotten an email with your user or with a link to register. Okay? All right. There you go. That's how it works. Okay, one last call to action. Go to realfastindiebookmarketing.com/live. If you're already on that page, chances are you are if you're on a replay or a rebroadcast, just choose whichever one of these plans works best for you, and please do that before the countdown timer runs out. Okay, so with that, Amy, back over to you for closing words, and I want to just once again say thank you for your time, your attention, and I know that you're going to love working with Amy and I within Real Fast Indie Book Marketing. Amy, over to you. We've lost Amy. I know we've lost Amy.
I was sneezing, and so I hit mute so that I could blow my nose without interrupting. And so I was just waxing poetic about what an honor it is to work with you, so I'm going to start again.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, what I was saying was I consider it a privilege and an honor to work with all of our students and with everyone who wants to learn how to move out of where they are to where they want to be. And that's what we're all about here. Give us a shot. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee to evaluate me and Daniel and our classes. There's no risk. You get time with me. You get a lot of materials that you just can't get anywhere else for these sorts of prices. But what you mainly get is a community and an ability to learn exactly what I learned over the years working for major publishing houses. This opportunity is here through Sunday, but I want you to consider that in a few moments we're going to get off the phone and these discounts aren't going to be available forever. So give it a try, and I hope you've enjoyed your time with me. I've enjoyed my time with you, but I want to continue. Let's take it a little bit further. Let's take the next step, and I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group, and I look forward to seeing you on my email asking me questions.